Consistency is what transforms average into excellence. Welcome back to another episode of the Make It to Midnight podcast. This is episode number 32, and we are back again with another guest. And the reason I chose a quote about consistency is because this guest is one of the most consistent people out there. He's posted over 4,000 videos on YouTube. He is a leader in the college football media space, Ivy League graduate from Cornell, and you've probably heard his voice in more than a dozen, tons of highlight reels from different colleges because of his commentary. We have on the one, the only, my good friend, JD Pickell on this week's episode, and I'm fired up for you guys to hear about it. We talk about how important comparison is in this journey in the media world, how not to get caught up in it when it's healthy. We talk about some of the reasons JD found his way into the media space. He ended up suffering too many concussions in college. He was forced to retire, and that's what led him down the path that he is currently on. We talk about his role models, where he finds joy in his life, what it's like being a father, what it's like being a husband, how those things propel him to being the best version of himself. This is an awesome quality conversation with a guy that I respect so much. So I hope you guys enjoy this interview. I hope you guys leave a comment. Ask JD a question in the comments, and I will go to him in Nashville, maybe ask it to him, put it out on social. But I'm fired up for you guys to hear this interview. I think I learned a lot from my first interview with Tyler Olson, which you should go check out because that one was an awesome experience as well. And Tyler is incredible. But I think I learned a lot from that. And hopefully this one, it was even better. So I hope you enjoyed this interview. Please subscribe. Please share it with a friend. And I'll see you guys at the end of the video for a quick note. Welcome back to another episode of the Make It to Midnight podcast. This is episode 32, and I'm honored to have my guest with me, the one, the only, the Ivy League grad, the Baylor Bear, on three, the hard count with JD Pickell. JD, welcome to Make It to Midnight. I appreciate you being here, man.
Dude, this is electrifying. I mean, the studio is plush. This chair has got me just sinking in, ready for just hibernation, right? Like, this is awesome. I've been a fan of yours and the Make It to Midnight for a long time. So to do this, dude, is genuinely, like, not just saying, it's genuinely very, very cool.
I love it. And I do want the viewers to realize the sink over JD's head, that is not product placement. That is not a sponsor. That is just very high quality stainless steel kitchen that we just happen to have here in Nashville. So don't think I did that on purpose.
But IKEA, if you want to get in the mix.
But IKEA, if you want to get in the mix,
bro.
Use code JD Pickell. But JD, we'll go ahead and jump right into it. And when we were talking before, I've always admired you from afar. But one of the things that is so hard in life, especially in the media world, is comparison. And as an athlete, you've been around comparison your whole life. When you're in youth sports, you're compared to the teammates around you. You're comparing to others. When you go on to high school, it's against the people that are also being recruited by colleges. Mm-hmm. When you get to college, you're being compared against everybody else on the depth chart. In the media world, you're being compared to all the other people out there. What's your relationship like with comparison from the beginning to now? How's it changed? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I think the media part of it's so interesting because there's very few jobs where you know exactly what the other person in your specific role at another place is performing like. Like, you go on YouTube and check anybody's videos. Hey, I did a video on the exact same topic, came out around the same time, reacted at the same time as this person. I got X, they got Y. And so it's tricky, dude. It's a tricky thing to navigate. I think the thing for me that has been beneficial is a couple of things. Like, one, just everybody's race is different. Like, everybody's path in this thing is different. Everybody's start is different. And two, like, it's very easy to compare yourself at different points in your game to somebody else's game. Like, for example, like a person I hear a lot in my comment section I get compared to is like Josh Payton. Josh Payton's like
love Josh
the
Payton.
GOAT, dude.
Yeah.
Been so good to me, been nothing but nice to me. When I moved to Nashville, hit him up and was like, hey, can I like pick your brain and grab lunch for like a few minutes? And he was like so generous with his time, so kind to me. But the thing that I have to remember is like Josh Payton's been at this for a minute. And so to compare myself to someone of that stature, one, like, there's one Josh Payton, and wears a white T-shirt, and he's on the air Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, and like that's one of one. So like to compare yourself to that dude, one, fool's errand. Two, it's like he's also been in the media game longer. Like to compare yourself to, you know, where I'm at now and where he's at is just like not a helpful tool. And so I use him as an example for anybody that you would compare in media. So the thing for me is just realizing like, hey, where I am in my journey and my process, it's not fair to compare someone several steps ahead or several years ahead or whatever that is. And so just like reminding yourself of that has been so huge for me. Also just being grateful, dude. Like before doing this, worked at a corporate job. I was dude on LinkedIn, like hitting people up, like, hey, I got an opportunity for you. Like I was the recruiter, bro. And so
I'm still that guy.
It's the way to be.
I need to connect with you on LinkedIn, actually.
I got you, dog. I got you. So doing what I do now and, doing what I did then, it was an awesome job and paid the bills and all those things. But like the worst day at this job, you'd take that any day of the week.
All day. And I love it too, because the comparison groups, we were just talking about him, Chris Williamson. I went to his live show and he talks about that's one of the biggest issues people run into is when they want to get into something. There's a lot of people that want to be you in the sports media world. And they're going to immediately say, man, how do I be the next JD Pickell? How do I get to that spot? And then they start comparing everything they do to you. And it's like you have over, I think it was like 4,400 videos on the Hard Count YouTube channel. It's like you've put in 4,400 videos and everybody out there that's on video 10 is comparing themselves to somebody on video 4,000.
Sure.
When you do look at your early videos, and I only was able, you must have scrubbed YouTube because I tried to find the earliest JD videos, and I saw one interview that you did with somebody that he played at Ivy League school. Then I guess he was at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Justin Shelton Mosley.
Yes. And so I saw that interview. What is it like? I don't know if you ever go back down that memory lane, but what is it like knowing that you were at that spot and now you're at one of the bigger platforms on 3?
Honestly, there's two thoughts. One is like it's so encouraging to be able to go back and look at where you were and look at where you are now and say, I think I'm better than then. I've at least put in the work to be better than where I was then. Two, there's also just like I think for everybody that's honest, like there's an imposter syndrome for whatever you do. Like every time you jump on the mic, every time you go to work, it's like I believe I belong here, but if you ride the wave of your numbers or your viewership, like you'll think you're no good at what you do once every 2 weeks. So I think that's important, but I also think just remembering too what it was like starting out is like super helpful. Like I remember I was I had another channel I was working on for a company called Pickell 365, and they kind of just allowed me access to a studio and to start a channel, all those things. And it was basically like, hey, dude, whenever you have margin to do this because you have a job too, like have at it. And so I remember like trying to set up the camera, taking an hour to get like a 5-minute video in and just being like, dude, what am I like? Is this worth it? Like, what am I doing right now? And so looking back on that and now being able to look at, progress since then is super cool. Super encouraging.
And talk about it too, because I was listening to an interview, and when you first got your opportunity outside of football, you had to stop because of an injury, and it was the Baylor SID that put you in touch with the guy that you were able to get opportunity with.
Yeah, man.
But relationships are everything. And to me, listening to that was such a perfect example of how you treat people matters. And so just take me through, you're at media days, you're talking with the SID, and then ultimately it leads to a job opportunity for you.
Yeah. Taylor Bryan, just a good human being, because he didn't know me from Adam, I'm sure. Like it's funny to talk about my experience with Baylor. I was a walk-on, so like you're already lower on the totem pole. But for most walk-ons, it's like, hey, we can at least develop this kid 3 to 4 years. Maybe he becomes something. I'm a graduate transfer walk-on with 1 year of eligibility. So it's like, bro, we're here for a good time, not a long time, right? And so for him to like, one, want to chop it up while I'm waiting to get my picture taken was kind of in itself. And then two, once I retired from football, for him to reach out to the people at the Baylor fan site, Pickell 365, and be like, hey, this dude wants to do media. You take it from there. Like, didn't have to do that. And it's just genuinely so kind. And to what you just said a second ago, like having those connections with people and having like real interactions, just like forever indebted to that dude now. It's phenomenal stuff.
Yeah. And when you're starting out, say you're at Pickell 365 or when you're starting your own YouTube channel, because I get frustrated all the time recording Make It to Midnight. And you especially feel the imposter syndrome because I'm out here trying to promote positivity and I'm on take number 20 of trying to just repeat this quote that somebody said. But one of the questions I asked at another show was like, what do you miss from like episode 1 now that you're on episode 1000, some of the processes? I'll save that question. We can ask that. I'll ask that after this.
Yeah.
But before, what were some of those frustration points in the beginning, and how were you able to work through them?
Dude, I don't know if you've ever felt this way, but I was like, dude, I'm not making any money. Like, I was like, and so at this point in my life, I'm like, I am no longer like playing football. So like real life starts right away. I'm like a grad school dropout. And like all my friends too are like in New York, in Houston, they're, you know, they got their big boy job and they're hustling. And I'm like, I'm older than, you know, the people that I'm around in this college town in Waco. I'm making no money. And so for the longest time, I was like beating my head against a wall. Like, okay, I really have a passion for this. I love this. I like, and like deeper than that, I was like, I feel really, I think people throw the word called around a little bit too casually, but I feel like the Lord's pleasure doing this thing, but there is no like financial backing behind this. Like, how do I do this? And so I think once I was able to like let go of that part of it and be like, okay, whatever happens, happens. If I can do this for free, amazing, while having a job to pay the bills and like save for an engagement ring at the time, was huge. And then, and then also to that point of like not riding the waves of whatever the result was. Cause you have a good video, you're like, I'm the man, dude. Yeah. Like someone should hire me tomorrow. And then you have a bad video and you're like, that was a waste of an hour. Once you kind of were able to detach from the results of it all, is almost when things would speed up.
Yeah. Did you feel, was there a specific moment that you feel like that happened, or was it just kind of slowly turned into process-based and not results-based?
I think the latter, man. I think, because even when I was fortunate enough to get a call from the folks at On3, like it wasn't like we were doing videos that were doing like 50K or anything crazy. So I think genuinely like just enjoying the process and enjoying honestly the fact that like I wasn't getting paid. There wasn't like these massive stakes behind it. It was like, I'm spending time during a lunch break. I'm 8 to 5 to go shoot a couple of videos, do a couple film breakdowns. And like, I get to go do that because I love it and I enjoy it. Go back to my job that pays me what it pays me so I can pay rent. I was like, this is very cool. So I remember like driving home, feeling like the video sucked, and then being like, well, I'll just do it again tomorrow. Like, I'll just shoot another one tomorrow, and like, if it's good, someone will see it. If it's not, nobody will see it. And I would do it either way regardless. So having that mindset was just like so freeing in a way, you know?
And just valuable in any part of life. If you have that, if you can have that spirit of, I'm just going to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but the consistency and how consistency looks different each day. The cup's not always going to be filled to the top, but as long as there's something in the cup,
for sure,
is everything. And so what are some of the things that you miss from those first episodes compared to now?
You asked, I didn't even answer the question. I was rolling into the
I
next
needed
thing.
to wait.
I loved it. No, that's great. I think the fact that like it truly, like it, I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase this. Yeah. I truly didn't care what the feedback was or what I thought of the video, because I was like, there's no stakes here. And so the rawness of like figuring it out, you know, slowly but surely, and feeling like you cracked the code, and like, you know, looking back the next day and saying, oh, actually I didn't. And like just having to slowly progress and figure out what that looked like. That was a super cool, because I think now too, you walk into your job and maybe you feel the same way. You're like, okay, like stakes are a little bit higher here. Like I can't read a kid's height and weight wrong and like it be okay with whatever fan base we're speaking to. Like you'll get chopped. But before that, I'm like, it's 500 views.
Yeah. Gamecock Nation's coming at you. You better get Nikki Mewari right.
I got JP Hovey coming after me, dude, in the chat right now. Are you kidding me? Like
JP from Greenville.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's been huge. But I'd be like, for you, because you have almost different vantage points in itself, where you have this massive success with Bussin', and you have something newer with Make It to Midnight. Like, are you able to even like flip that filter on its head and say, hey, this is pretty sick. Like, I have this thing going that I feel passionate about, and I also feel passionate about Bussin', but I have two things at different stages in their growth. Like, are you able to like almost hack the system in that way, dude? Like, it's pretty rare, I feel like.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, I haven't thought about it too much, but I do believe watching how Will and Taylor have been able to be successful and it's through so many flaws. Like that's some of the best parts of the show is the flaws.
Sure.
Where in school, that's not what you're taught. If you mess up while you're recording something, I was a broadcast journalism major, you mess up when you're recording something, then you got to redo it because regardless if it was funny or not, that's not going to make it on TV. So then you take that out into when you're trying to find a job in the, not that I was looking for a job in the podcast world, but I have that sort of attitude in my head of like, man, I have to make sure that I'm polished. I got to be polished. But all of the greatest shows right now, some of the greatest shows right now are the ones that are unpolished.
Yeah.
And I would love to be at the mixture of Bussin' with the Boys and Josh Pate.
Yeah.
Because Josh Pate is the perfect polished individual.
Yeah.
Obviously very authentic. The way he speaks, the way he communicates, his metaphors he uses are incredible.
So dialed. Will
and Taylor being able to laugh at themselves, like being able to laugh through mistakes, I think has taught me a lot of things. Because in some of my best performing clips on Make It to Midnight are the ones that is just put the camera up, talk, and just kind of like fumble through your words and get there. But it's like, I did it. This is what it sounds like when somebody tries to talk for 2 minutes about, I don't have the book out here right now, but the Benjamin Franklin book I'm reading.
Heck yeah.
Like it's not going to be perfect. And so it's been freeing to know that success kind of does lie in the unpolished, more authentic version than kind of what you're taught in school.
And I think that's what you just said is like you like Pate, Taylor, Will, McAfee. I feel like every individual in the space, even regardless of polish, like they're like real people. You know what I mean? Like Josh works in our office and he's the same dude on camera as he is off camera, like getting ready to go in the studio. And I'm sure you could attest to that as well with what y'all did this past college football season. But I just think we're in such a cool time in media where maybe for the first time ever, like real wins, like being yourself wins. Whereas before it was like teleprompter, shoulders back, put on the broadcaster voice. Whereas now, like the viewer's just too smart. You know, like the viewer like sees that and is like, that's not real life. I want to listen to somebody that's speaking to me in real life, like a JP Hovey on Make It to Midnight.
Right. Which is also encouraging because it is now more than ever, it's harder for people to be authentic because everybody is very worried about how they feel. And that's what one of the things I say on the show is that we're hoping to fight is like the loneliness epidemic. And you're going to be very lonely if you don't even know yourself, because then you can't get to know anybody else. I can only go as deep with you as I've gone with myself. And so that's just, it's the one of the secret sauces of success. I don't like the word success as it's perceived, but it's, you know what I'm trying to say.
For sure.
But man, it's been cool. Let me pop. Oh yeah. For football.
Yeah.
You're the ultimate football guy. What are some of the lessons that you've learned in college football, could have been high school football, being in the locker room, that you felt have helped you become successful outside of football?
It's a great question, dude. I think my first thought is just like playing the long game. And it's funny to say that now with where we are right now in college football and the transfer portal. And if I'm not the guy tomorrow, I'm out. But I just remember so vividly my sophomore year in high school was one of the first real times that I had like struggled athletically. And I was like, I want to say I was like fourth on the depth chart at quarterback, bro. Like we're struggling. We're not picking up the offense. Like it's early on. We got a new coach, all these things. I'm just like, for the first time, legit, just like, should I move positions? Like, am I good enough to play? All these different things. And over the course of almost like 2 months or a month, maybe just fall camp, like the first month of summer camp, fall camp, we have two quarterbacks like transfer out to different high schools. So all of a sudden, like whether they wanted to play the boy or not, like I'm a backup quarterback and I'm like, and so it ended up being like a great thing in high school. And the coach and I, you know, still talk to him this day. One of the more phenomenal coaches I've had across my playing career. Just the idea of like, dude, I know today sucks, but like figure it out. Hunker down. What's the next right decision? What's the next right thing? What's the next right mindset? Like, don't get down into September, October and wonder if you're going to be playing or not. Just like you got practice today and it's July 15th. Like, let's go. You know? So I think that
Show up and do it again tomorrow.
Show up and do it again tomorrow. Like I legit believe like 75% of life is just showing up. You know what I mean? Like if you're just there, think of how many people aren't there on day 3, on day 4, and just seeing so much fruit from that.
And in addition to the showing up, having the optimistic, positive attitude, you'd much rather surround yourself with optimistic people than pessimistic people. And
Completely.
the same goes for work. You seem like a very optimistic person. Does that come from your family, how you grew up? Is it a natural thing? Did a coach help it, or where does your personality, where do you see it coming from? Is it from your parents, or?
Yeah, I think the number one source I would say is just my faith and just where my hope lies, and that Christ died on the cross for me, and that I get to live in eternity with Him in heaven. And like that's I think like the number one thing. And then I think even downstream of that is, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. We really only have like so many things we get to control in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so many things we can control, and some things we think we have control over. But like really, there's a pretty limited number of things, and one of them is like your perspective and what you choose to believe is true about yourself, your life, and all those things. And it sounds like so cliche and motivational speakery, but I think it's true. It's like, dude, if you lose up here to start, like it doesn't get better if you lose up here the rest of the way. You know what I mean? Like you can have a bad attitude and maybe you'll catch some breaks, but it's not gonna hockey stick up and to the right with being, Eeyore the whole time. So I think just that perspective of like, if I can't lose here and win everywhere else, you know what I mean? So that was, I think, then parents obviously also were phenomenal people. And last thing I'll say is just my dad had a quote that says, attitude determines altitude. And I think that's just so true.
Yeah, and that's what that was kind of going into my next question is who were some of those role models for you growing up? Could be your dad, could be coach, could be a teammate.
Yeah.
And then also, because I think what gets lost as we get older is we sort of stop looking up to people because we're older. So that's part of it. You mature. You're not really as focused on somebody that's also 30 years old isn't as cool to you because you're not 15 anymore.
Completely.
But I think it's so important. Like I love Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
I hated him when he played in college.
I'm sure.
So I'm a Gamecock and he did my Gamecocks dirty. But now he's one of my role models. So who were some of your role models growing up? And then who would be a role model for you now?
My parents, just both. I've been so fortunate to just have parents that have a tremendous marriage and modeled so many good just virtues for us, a lack of sounding cliche. One thing that I think was always and still is inspiring about my dad is like, dude just doesn't let a lot get to him. Like I can count on one hand the amount of times I've seen him like genuinely sweating something.
Yeah.
And so seeing that every day growing up, in addition to, the way he would provide for our family and be there for the kids and all those things, is just like, you can't help but aspire to be that way. You know what I mean? So he is, I think, like was and still is one of the biggest role models for me in my young life, but also like adult life has just been very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Is there anybody out there that you haven't met yet that you would consider a role model?
That's a great question, dude. I'm trying to think of like a role model.
It could also just be a part of someone. And, I say it loosely, like you and I, we're both big believers.
Yeah.
Like Jesus is our guy.
100%.
And whenever I'm looking around, I'm always looking for pieces of Jesus in others.
Yeah, man.
Which is one of the reasons I love Tim Tebow.
For sure.
But yeah, I don't know.
No, that's a great. I'm trying to think of like the right answer because I think the quality of like relentless optimism, for lack of a better phrase, like I just think that like I think when you're optimistic in the face of pessimistic circumstances, it's easier for people to be like either A, like you're delusional, B, you're living in a fairy tale land, which I guess goes along with delusional, but it's almost like this idea of, oh, you have a soft outlook on the world. It's like, dude, it takes way more juice and effort and all those things to like see good in things than it does to be like, well, this sucks, everything sucks, let's mail it in. So I think people that just model that well and honestly too, like that, don't take it all too seriously. Like, I think that's just infectious and so great. So not a specific person, but people that model that well.
Yeah, and attitude. Yeah, the people that have that attitude. I've been trying to write more, and so at least once a week I'll try to write, whether it be like a poem or an essay.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have all the technical terms down for what these pieces of writing are, but I'm just trying to get better at writing down my thoughts. And one of them on the optimism and pessimism thing was, it's so hard to predict the ceiling of an optimist, but you can very clearly predict the ceiling of a pessimist.
Oh, 100%.
Just because you never know. If you're optimistic, you never know the one relationship can truly change it all.
For sure, dude.
So I love that.
Like, it sounds funny, but McAfee in this space. Like, you listen to Pat McAfee and whatever you think about him in sports media, like, people have a million different takes on the guy. But, like, one thing you can't deny is, like, you listen to the dude speak, and he clearly, like, loves his life, enjoys people around him, and is, like, genuinely present and engaged with and where he is. You know what I mean? Like, that's inspiring stuff. And
I'm gonna take a quick break from our serious talk.
I love it.
But actually, maybe you could frame it this way. I might be getting even more serious right now, because I'm scrolling through my notes right here, and I'm hearing you speak about Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee is a very funny guy.
Yeah.
He's come back from a lot of situations as well. I would like to know the behind the scenes of what happened that day at the pool.
Oh, dude,
when you jumped out, and we didn't land it.
Yeah.
So if you could walk us through, because I would love to. I'm going to clip this, and I'm going to run the clip of the whole redemption arc.
Oh man,
what was going through your head when you first went? When you first decided, hey, I'm assuming you asked your wife to film it.
Yeah.
Take me through it step by step,
dude. Even more embarrassing than that. So my mom was in town helping with our newborn daughter. She had to be a few months, if not a few weeks old. And so it was during the summer. It's coming back to me. During the summer, we had found that she loved the pool, and so we're like, cool,
what a
dude.
quality to have in a kid.
To be amphibious, dude,
gosh,
could
it's
you
everything.
Imagine? So cool. So she's like, we kind of finishing up a pool day, starts to rain, and the ratio of height of the pool, I don't know, curb is maybe the right word to say. I don't know, pool deck and water we had almost. I was like, hey, it's been a minute since your boy's been like truly athletic, but I think I might be able to like spring out of this. And I think I like tried a couple of times, and I think my mom or maybe my wife was like, let's just like video this. And I don't even remember if it was
an inside job, if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, dude. And so went for it a couple times, like got my feet up on the brim. And so I'm like, okay, I just got to commit here. Like, we might be able to do something kind of cool. And whether like, I had no thought at this point in time of like, oh, I'll post this video. It was kind of just like an ego thing of haven't played football in a while. Do I still have anything left? Do I have anything left in the legs to get out of this water and like still call myself marginally athletic? Went how it went, feet on the ground, fall, slip back, fall into the water. And the first I was like, okay, I don't think I'd like hurt anything drastically. I think tailbone still, we're good. Get out of the water. And I'm like, my daughter had to see that. Like, that's all she knows about her.
Was
dad
she even
right
looking
now.
at you after? Or?
Dude,
She
nothing but
crying?
disgust in her face. Just like, I can't believe you pathetic creature are my father. So that obviously awoke the fire inside to come back and finish the job, you know.
And then it meant a lot to you to prove that.
It meant too much, man. It was like, yeah, it was a dark few months, dude.
But what a video, man. Honestly, like,
I appreciate
to be able to actually jump out of that water and land it
I appreciate
is
that.
impressive.
I appreciate that.
Deserve more than the Cornell offer.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, what are you gonna do, man?
And I don't know about you, I felt like I peaked a little bit too late. I had two peaks. One was in 5th grade. I was unstoppable at any sport you could imagine.
Really?
Fastest swimmer in the county in the short free. I'm shooting half-court shots at the high school varsity basketball games at halftime. Maybe make one or two. I got coach coming over to me like, I can't wait for you to be at Eastside, man. Obviously just being nice to a 9-year-old.
The Hovey Globetrotters.
Yeah, and then something happened, 7th grade. I'm like, you know, I made the team, but I'm not playing. 8th grade, still going through the growth spurt, but never played college. But I do want to talk about the difference in, because that obviously you have your daughter, probably your most happy, most joyful
Sure. Yeah.
moment. But
Yeah.
a question that I love to hear from people, love to hear the answer from people is, when you think about the things that brought you joy when you were in high school, college, you're right, even post college, compared to the things that bring you joy now. What were some of the things when you were younger that you were finding joy in? True joy.
Yeah, dude. I think community for me is like the churchy way to say it, community, but like just being with the boys, dude. Like being with some of my best friends, throwing the football around, going to someone's like backyard and just chopping it up at some just horrific hour of the night. Like stuff like that. You're not even doing anything, but you're just with people like you care about, that you've been with in shared experiences. Like that stuff just like is second to none in terms of like your adolescent life. And I think even like fast forwarding the tape, like marriage in that way and having a daughter in that way, like obviously different circles, right?
Right.
But just the relationship in general has been just like a constant for me of what's been so sweet. And then also too, like honestly, like competing and like playing a sport and being in the same way in community in that way. I would say definitely in the adolescent life would check that. And then two, like in to answer the adult part of that question, like I think I'm very fortunate to be able to do something that I truly like feel purpose and passion in for work. Because I mean, you could attest to this, being married, not a ton of margin for like other hobbies. Like you're married, you have your job, and maybe there's like a 2% area there to do something else that you care about. So being able to like lump in I enjoy this, feel passionate about this to the work side of things has been a game changer for me.
Yeah. And how, I don't know about you, like you've always been a driven person. You have to be to go on to, play college football, to make it in the media world. But I know for me, when I got married, it gave me like that extra kind of motivation and juice to it.
Yeah.
Which is, and I can only imagine that second wave comes in whenever you have a kid. And so kind of like, I don't know, talk about sort of the importance of marriage in your quest to like continue to do well in the media space, because I think from the outside view, it can all look it seems so different, because everybody we see on TV, they're not really people you think about their relationship or marriage and what's propelling them forward. And I think we are kind of entering an era where more people are being open about that and like encouraging, hey, marriage is one of the best things that can happen to you. But yeah, to kind of talk about like an extra fire that gets lit from getting married to your best friend and also having a kid.
I think the biggest thing on the marriage side was when I got the opportunity with On 3, we had to move away from Waco, Texas, which is where we got married, had tremendous friends, had a church we loved. And so the thought was at the time, we're not saying no to moving anywhere in the future, but like we're in Waco, Texas till we're not. And my wife too, from Dallas, like an hour and a half from Waco, like Texas was home, families in Texas, all the things. And so to ask her to move for my job, like 3 months into us being married, we had to break our lease. Like that was just such a big ask of me that probably wasn't fair to her at that point in our life. Like it wasn't like, it was going to just drastically change our quality of life. I mean, cost of living in Waco, Texas, pretty nice now. Okay, you can live pretty good in Waco, Texas for a few bucks.
Big house,
now, you know what I'm saying? Different than Nashville. Big house, 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah,
right? Pretty solid. So like that in itself, and her saying yes to that, one was just so selfless and like a debt that I will never pay back. First of all, but like getting to Nashville and being like, okay, I gotta make this work. Like I gotta make myself right here in a lot of ways, but I gotta make her saying yes to this right as well. So the days where you're in there and like, do we do one video or two? You're like, might have to do 2 today. We got to do 3 today to try and, just make it all worth it for her. I'm going to enjoy this regardless, but like, let's try and make it worthwhile for for her. Then on the daughter side of things, I mean, more expenses to be had. So you're like, hey,
Yeah.
let's go,
Definitely.
let's go make sure we can take care of everybody and give her the life that you want to give her when she's only a year old. So it's funny to say that, but you definitely think about stuff like that for sure.
That's
for
fun,
sure.
man.
Yeah, man.
And one more question on the relationship side of things. What is something that you feel like your wife has helped bring out in you that maybe you didn't know you had in you, or she just has helped shine a light on it?
That's a really good question, dude. I think she's just such a selfless individual and thinks about people so well, to where like I thought I did marrying her. I thought I like saw people well and considered them, but she's just so next level with it. And so to grow in that myself just by in proximity with her and being married to her in those ways, like that has been, I think, just massively helpful. And it's also helped you see the world in a better way, you know, like she's a great question asker. So like she would probably do great on a podcast, but like her asking intentional questions and like almost prompting me in that same way, I think has grown me a lot. But like also too in marriage, I'm sure you could attest to this. You also figure out ways that you got some blind spots now.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I mean, I'm sure that's similar with you and the missus as well. Like you just grow in all these different ways.
Yeah, and it really is crazy, and it's just so important too. Like I feel super lucky because similar to your situation when she's just down to move to Waco or from Waco to Nashville.
Yeah.
She has that same type of mentality. Luckily, we haven't had to do that. I moved from Florida to Nashville.
Yes, sir.
But I was also coming from, I didn't have a full-time job. I was just running my own videography business.
Yeah.
But to be surrounded by somebody, one of her definitely biggest gifts is like the gift of optimism and enthusiasm. And I think it's one of the reasons why I love spending time with her, but also why I love spending time with like younger kids or like working at camps and stuff like that, because I feel like they're the ones that have it figured out and the adults are not.
Yeah.
And I think whenever you have a kid, you're able to go back to that a little bit because you're getting to see this kid live with eyes of innocence and, you know, seeing all that's good in the world.
Yeah.
Which is fun. But when you're saying you're moving from Waco to Nashville, you're doing what you love. Is this always something that you've loved and the mission behind it? Like you feel like this is your purpose. What makes you say that you feel like this is your purpose?
Yeah. There's a movie called Chariots of Fire. Have you ever seen Chariots? It's like it's the soundtrack whenever somebody's running in a movie. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun. It's from that movie, and I won't go like super deep into the plot, but basically, this runner who's going to run in the Olympics, and I think his family wants him like to be a missionary or something crazy, based on a true story. But he's talking to his sister about like, hey, I'm gonna go do the missionary work after I run in the games, and his sister's like, why? Like, there's such important work to do. Why are you doing this? And he's like, God made me fast. When I run, I feel His pleasure. And like, it sounds so funny to say out loud, to talk about a feeling as purpose, but like genuinely, I feel a lot of the Lord's pleasure and purpose and like being able to do this. And it's been so cool to see the way that He's like blessed it and hopefully worked through it. But I think His provision in that way and the feeling of pleasure and purpose in doing the work itself has been really gratifying, which isn't to say it's always like an amazing feeling every single day you walk in of 100%. But that quote in itself just like resonates so much with me. But to answer the question about was it always the plan? Like yes, but I'm sure you've seen like in the media space in itself too. I don't know that this job even like would have existed 10 years ago.
Yeah, not at all.
So definitely wanted to do college football. Definitely wanted to be able to talk about it. But podcasting wasn't really a thing. YouTube was kind of a thing, but I was like, I don't know how that really is going to work or if that'll be a thing. So yeah, man, being able to work in the space was always the goal, but the path is still ambiguous for everybody, but was more so at that point.
Yeah. What is when JD Pickell, the hard count, whatever the next show may be, when it is all said and done, what is the hope that you feel that people, when they're watching your show, that the emotion that's evoked in them, or just their thought on when they leave from watching the last JD show, what do you hope was the feeling they experienced?
Dude, what a great question.
It's hard.
Great
You might not even
question,
have an
bro.
answer right now, which would be okay.
No, it's awesome. I think we all just want to feel like we got how we felt across, and that resonated with the viewer. Like, college football is just like, I think, one of the coolest things, and the media space itself too has a lot of people that maybe don't love college football but work in college football, and sometimes maybe water it down or make it seem like it's lesser than it is. Like, I hope I feel like I'm like writing a eulogy for like the media career almost in some ways, but like I hope they're like, this dude freaking cared, he was engaged, he was consistent, and like all those things showed up in whatever he said, whether I agree with him or not. Like, I hope it's evident like how much I like enjoy this, love this, and care about college football. Does that make sense?
And I think what's so cool about that is that exact sentiment, if you just would replace college football with the word life, like it's that, I think that's why you're so successful in what you do, because
I appreciate that, man.
it's that mission statement, I feel like, is how you live out your day to day. I know we haven't spent too much time together, but
I appreciate that.
it shows through the content. So it's cool to hear that that's also the goal. It's a very authentic.
Not to flip it around, because I know this is your podcast, but like,
Yeah.
what would be the JP Hovey, like, and like roll credits, final statement from the boy?
Yeah, man.
Just make it to midnight maybe is the best way to put that.
Yeah.
I know you got your hand in a lot of pots, but
No, for sure. I mean, this is make it to midnight is the number one thing that I unapologetically like care about as far as all my work endeavors, because I feel like it's the mission I created. Like, and I love one of these quotes or whatever it is, like, you should never expect somebody to work as hard on your dream as you. So when you're scaling out and you're bringing in more people, like, why would my employee want to build my dream as bad as I want to build it? But my number one goal, man, when Make It to Midnight is all said and done, one, I've helped people make it to as many midnights as they can. And I want to, I'm in a fight against the loneliness epidemic and doom scrolling. And I love the internet. I have fun on the internet, but it's a bad place for a lot of people. And that's why I want to put out this type of content, because if people are going to be scrolling and we're going to be having all these effects on our brain coming from our phones, then I'd like to be contributing to that side. So if I could wrap it up into a few sentences, I guess it would be, I hope after somebody watched my show or my show was over, they felt encouraged and empowered to either spark up a friendship with a stranger, or I'm trying to think of a nice way to put it all in. It's funny when you come up with the question, you very rarely do you sit and ever think about your own answer on it. But yeah, I would want somebody to, I guess, if I could, I'll try to think of three things that I want people to think when they leave Make It to Midnight. I want them to feel less alone, like they were just a part of something that is bigger than themselves. I want people to have a new sense of confidence in themselves. And then I want somebody to be inspired to tell somebody else about the good news of Jesus or whatever else is going on in their life, just spreading some good news. I'm going to definitely work on that answer, because I love it could become something smooth.
No, I thought that was perfect, bro.
Yeah.
I thought that was real too.
All right, I just had to go check the cameras and the audio, make sure we're still rolling, because we are a one-man show right now. So we are going to jump back into it. If you notice the jump cut, mind your business. Keep enjoying this conversation with JD Pickell. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment. Leave a comment of what you would have asked JD, and then I will try to go find him in the streets of Nashville and ask him this thing. Tell me about your time at On3 from day one when you first moved here to now, because the growth of the whole company has been cool, but I also think it's been awesome because I've gotten to know Caden as well. And talk about how cool it is to just sort of share your dream and vision, be able to share your dream and vision with somebody else.
Dude, yeah. I mean, to hit on the point about Caden, what's been so cool about working with him, because this was his first full season. He was previously working on the news desk, so my man was grinding, writing articles, and nice with the keyboard. What's been so cool is the dude is just an absolute workhorse. Like we get comments on YouTube videos. We'll react after a game, and the lights in our office are motion censored, so if no one's out there for long enough time, they go dark. And so anytime someone sees dark lights behind you in an office, like, dang, like JD's working hard. And I'm like, bro, I left after we shot the video. Caden stayed, Caden cut it, Caden produced it. And I always check, like, hey, bro, is it cool if I roll? Like, we got a 1-year-old at home, wife at home. He's like, dude, go do what you want to do. Go do what you need to do. Like, I got this. The dude's absolutely, can't say enough about his work ethic and what he's been to the show. Like, that's been such a sweet thing, because I don't think there's a lot of, like, bridging the gap between, hey, I see this, you see this, how do we compromise? I feel like there's a lot of, we're in lockstep with, things that we want the show to be and content in that self. So it's been a huge blessing and been so cool. In terms of like day one to now with On3, it's just been such a fun process to see the audience, hopefully get more engaged with it and grow with it, and also just be a part of what On3 is doing, man. Like, it's been, we'll hire someone, like, for example, we hired like Chris Lowe over the course of the last year or so, and you get texts like, hey man, it seems like On3's crushing. I'm like, I'm happy my key card works. I'm happy that payday comes, and the boys still you're on a winning team, man, and so you're happy you're still on the roster. And it's been a lot of fun to be a part of it and see all the cool things that Shane and Terry, the owner and founder, have made come to life, and to be even a part of it has been really humbling and really cool.
Yeah. And I think, because people can get lost in it. A lot of people will ask, how do you break into the sports industry? And a lot of the answers that people will get from across the board are very similar.
Yeah.
You and I will both say, I've heard you say in interviews, start your own type of content, start putting stuff out there. What I'm curious to hear from you is, how do you continue to find ways, as Brian Peters would put it, chase edges that can keep separating JD Pickell? Are you studying other people? Or are you studying yourself more? Yeah. Or how do you keep that like inner competition going?
That's a great question. I think I have two different like sound bites that come to mind when you ask that question. One is, I don't know if you've seen, there's like an old Tom Brady doc about just his like, being being a 6th round pick and then winning as many Super Bowls as he did. And someone asked him like a similar question. He's like, the fact that you don't think you're still very good. He's like, you're still not this, you're still not that, which can be, a negative enforcer and can also like be good fuel at different points in times. But I think the idea of like, again, going back to, one of the first questions you asked of comparison and where I am versus where somebody else is, it's like, dude, I still think there's just so much ground to cover, and hopefully audience we can grow and things we can say and ways we can improve the show. And so like seeing that and knowing that of, hey, we haven't yet arrived, is both motivating and can be encouraging of like where we are right now. Hopefully it's better a year from now and the year after that. So like that in itself, I think like can fire you up and keep you going. And then in terms of the second quote and soundbite, like how do you kind of find different ways to be different and keep it growing? There's a great book out by, you know who Ruslan is? He's a YouTuber in the space, was a rapper, wrote a book called Godly Ambition, still raps, I think, but he has a chapter in that book that talks about like follow the favor. So like, hey, something in this, specific lane did well based on the numbers, like let's lean into that and see if there's another way to another evolution of that. Or, hey, people like this kind of content where we're breaking down this part of the game, like let's go that way. So that's like another thought, and just because you're always trying to find, what's the new thing nobody's doing,
right?
And when you have however many million people on YouTube in the sports space, it's a small list. It feels like at times, dude, of things that haven't been done. So,
dude, yes, small list, and it's another reason too why the faith is so important, because ambition is like one of the biggest tools and greatest weapons against ourselves.
Yeah,
and so many of the guys that I admire, like Chris Williamson's of the world, it's so funny when you hear them talk about it, because you have a certain piece to you where obviously you're a dog, you get after it, but there's not this insecurity of always feeling like you have to be the first one at this next milestone, which is important because you're running your own race. You're not racing anybody else.
Sure.
But it always comes back to these guys are the Chris Williamsons of the world. They're brilliant, but when they talk about the peaks and talk about achieving success, without fail, it's always, you always hear them talk about, make sure that you're not, when you're hugging your most recent achievement, you're not looking over the shoulder to see what's next. And a lot of these guys are looking over the shoulder because it's human nature for sure. But it's also, that's what happens when you don't have a North Star or an actual direction you're going into. So it's cool to hear the healthy, ambitious side of it.
Dude, I mean, you try,
we all fall short on it, and we get caught up, and we want to be. You want to be number one in the space,
for sure.
I want to be number one in the space, and I'm going to work my butt off to be number one in the space. But just a dangerous slope if that's what it's.
It's so tricky,
yeah.
And like you almost, I think the healthy approach, like you just said, something great happens. Hey, let's take a second. Let's savor this. Let's be grateful. Let's accept it. But you're also like, okay, well, I don't want to get complacent. I don't want to slip back. I know what it's like to not be where we're at, and I want to keep going, and I want more. And it's like you almost feel guilty at some points for like taking a quick second at the mountaintop or whatever that mountaintop equivalent is. It's a weird balance, man. It's a weird balance.
What have been some of the mountaintops you've been proud of yourself for that along the journey has been cool to witness?
Yeah, man. I think going to the national championship game as like someone who's there to like quote unquote work, it's just I'm sure you could attest being at, the Super Bowl radio row or whenever y'all are on the spring tour going to games. It's like being able to be there, take a second and be like, dude, if I could show 15-year-old JD this right now, he'd flip, like being able to just breathe that in, take a second, enjoy it, smile, and like just stop for a second. Those have been really, really sweet. And also with it being the end of a college football season and take a second on the grass and be like, wow, like, thanks God. This is really cool. And something that, like I mentioned, younger me would have walked barefoot over broken glass from Nashville to Miami to be at that game. Like that stuff is just really, really sweet, and you try not to ever take it for granted.
Another question before I get to my last one that this just made me think of it, that I wanted to ask was, what is something hard that younger you went through that in the moment sucked, but current you is like, thank God I went through that, whether it's because it proved confidence to yourself or whatever it may be. What would that be?
I was thinking about it last night. My junior year of college, I ended up getting mono and had to like miss the entire college football season. Like I wasn't able to play. And I mean, being injured, you just feel isolated. You're not really around the team. If you are on the team, you kind of feel like an outsider in general. So you don't even know exactly how to operate that way. You feel like there's a different energy with you and your boys when you're in the locker room together. So like that was just super dark. And like, dude, honestly, during that, I would say first semester, like just like legit, like depressed, like super just dark, down, all those things. That was a really, really hard period of life. And at that point, you're kind of just asking just a lot of why questions, like you get the poor me's and it's your junior year. So you think you're about to pop and do all these big things, and you and your boys are like now upperclassmen, all that stuff. And it just didn't go that way. And that was so confusing in the moment. But fast forward, if I hadn't had to miss that year, I wouldn't have had the quote unquote medical red shirt to end up walking on at Baylor. I would have never met my wife at Baylor. I would have never gone and been able to like get a job in media. So all those things are just like, that was so bizarre and made no sense in the moment, but it was the absolute reason why I was able to like be having this conversation with you now. Quite frankly.
Isn't that, it's so cool. It's I don't know if you've ever heard I think it's like the proverb of the Chinese farmer or something.
Yeah.
And how it's just like the answer is always maybe.
Yeah.
Or like we'll see. It's just exactly like that. You get hurt. It's like, man, this has to be the worst thing that's ever happened to you. And the answer's like, well, maybe.
Yeah.
And then because you just never know what it could have kept you from or what it pushed you to.
Isn't it the truth? It's insane.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then the final question on the Make It to Midnight podcast. This is my rendition of Jay Shetty.
I love it.
Because he always does his last ones about all the amazing things he does. But mine is, what is a quote or story or experience that helped you make it to midnight and you think could help somebody else make it to midnight?
Yeah, I think in terms of story, I think that whole experience from medical red shirt, because that conference I should have added this, like the Ivy League doesn't give out developmental red shirts. So like there was no other way I was going to be able to have another year of eligibility. So that whole, just the idea that like the long game and that there is a bigger purpose to a lot of these things, I think everything in general, just encouraging when stuff doesn't make sense in that moment. In terms of a quote, like the Bible verse that I've clung to is Exodus 14:14, like the Lord will fight for you and you shall hold your peace. Just this idea of like, all right, I don't need to be super involved. Like I want to be, and I will be as involved as I need to be, and I'm not going to like, take my hands off the wheel to the point of being lazy and uninvolved, but like just being surrendered and knowing like that the Lord is fighting for you is like just, I think, huge and been super encouraging for me.
Awesome. And in the world of the internet, it's a lot of people, a lot of battles out there in the comment section.
A lot of battles.
How do you feel like you handle the negative comments?
I'm still not great at this, dude, to be honest.
Really?
Like, well, I say not great in the sense that there's a part of you that still lets too much of the negative in. And you're like, why am I letting my man who's got a mascot as a profile picture like chirp me and let it like mean something? That's part of it. But I think also like where I have growth is like sometimes you just got time. Like sometimes you got
had
time.
A nice chirp the other day.
It's just like, man, I don't know if I need to be in the mix like that. You know
that one was perfect though. When he was calling you out on your quarterback rankings.
Yeah, which
and
you
said,
know is coming. Yeah, man.
And you cooked him.
Yeah,
respectfully though.
You try not to be that guy, but like sometimes you do double check and like, hey, how slow is this pitch coming in? Like, is this going to be one that we can take for a ride? How dirty do you get your hands in a situation like this? Like, because also you're like, I don't know if you feel this way too. Like, people on Twitter that are like outside of your work life and your sports life. And you're like, do I really want to be around like Lena's friend who's like, hey, why did you go after that like Husky fan number whatever? Why are you chirping back and forth with Buddy? Like that was kind of a weird move by you, JD. You know what I mean? So
I love that. I love
we're
that.
Working on it.
How you just drew it up though with you got to see how fast that ball is coming at you. Because Will's amazing in the batter's box at chirping with people. He might be the number one hitter.
He's leading the league in home runs for sure.
He's leading the league in home runs. After I saw your recent chirp, you're probably in that top. You're probably in that 1 through 4.
There we go. We'll take it.
We know it's possible.
We'll take it.
But man, no, this has been awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time and sitting with me as I try to figure out more of this, how I want these podcasts to work, questions I want to ask. Weaving storytelling inside of it, it really means a lot. I love everything you do. I look up to the stuff you do. I think it's awesome. I think people are lucky and blessed to have that type of content with that type of energy behind it come through. So I'm excited. I'm rooting for. Yeah, I text you at the beginning of this year and last year, the year of JD.
Juiced me up.
Next year,
it juiced
year of
me
JD
up.
again.
It juiced me up, man.
So I'm excited.
You.
But yeah, is there anything that I did not ask that you want to talk about, or any little piece that you feel like you need to get off your chest, or anything you want to dive into before we get out of here?
Such a good question. I mean, I feel like we covered so many good things. Like, there's nothing top of mind. Like, I like want to flip it, and I feel like almost bring back all the questions you asked me and bring it to the boy. I don't want to overdo that, but I would just want to ask you this: like, you clearly have the dog in you. Like, I'm sure a lot of your audience already knows, but like working with UFC in that gym and like, or UFC fighters in that gym rather. Like, what is it for you that keeps you going? Because I think media is such a incredible space. It's awesome. it's not for the faint of heart by any stretch of the imagination. And it's not for if you want to be 8 to 5. It's not for if you want to work Monday through Friday. It's none of those things. Like, what is it that keeps the boy going?
Yeah, for me, it's impact. Like, I'm an easily impacted person, which is one of I've been trying to get better at, like, appreciating the positive traits that I have, the gifts I have, and owning those gifts and being more confident in them. And then because it's helped me open my eyes to a lot of them, and I realize that even now, but like, I could see what you do, and I'm positively impacted by you, and it makes me want to do something. I could see what a person I've never met has done, and I'm positively impacted by them. I'll turn on an America's Got Talent Golden Buzzer compilation, and I'm fired up because of these people. And I just think it's so cool that the thing that keeps me going, or that lights my fire, is that somehow, some way, I was lucky enough to be a part of the story of the history of the world, however long it may be. Right now, we're on page, AD. We're on page 2026. Sure. And I get an opportunity to put 70 pages into that story. And that in itself is an honor. And I want to make sure that when somebody else goes to read back the story, that my 70 to 75 pages are one of impact and one of inspiration and pointing people towards the right things. And so I think it's a zoomed out perspective is what keeps me going, because it's all so short. And I guess some days can feel long, and something I like to encourage people on if they are going through a bad day is, like, time freaking flies, which means good days go by fast, and so do bad days. Yeah. So keep showing up. But yeah, I would say that's what keeps me going. I think I just have a like maybe a little bit of a delusional but healthy outlook on the capabilities of, like, impact that I'm able to have if I use my time properly.
I love that. I love it. I mean, anything great happened with someone a little bit delusional,
I know, man.
Like, nobody had a level head and did something great.
Yeah, it's amazing. The more I read too, because I wasn't really much of a reader growing up, but, like, reading Benjamin Franklin's book and all of these people that we know throughout history, every single one of them has massive flaws. But to see what these people did that are just like us, and he's back and forth to London on a boat 4 times before he's 35 years old. And then he's drafting up, the plans to free America from British rule and half of the stuff. And he's also the reason that we have positive and negative signs on our batteries. Yeah. Like, that's something he discovered when he's going into electricity. And it's like, we're so malleable as humans, but we box ourselves into what we're able to accomplish. And the more I read these things, the more I'm like, man, hopefully this becomes a success, but why not in 10 years it could be something else? Maybe I'll be a teacher at a high school. So yeah, it's crazy what we're capable of.
Professor Hovey, baby.
Would be cool. I don't know if I'll do
man.
college, or college could be fun. Have you got to do any speaking at, like, schools, or
maybe my third grade class from where I went to elementary school? I think I zoomed in there, like, maybe a couple of years ago. But the first question I got was like, "How much do you make?" And I was like, I don't know if whatever I said was, like, if that's the first question, bro, I don't know how much landed with the youth, but not really. No,
dude,
it'd be cool.
You got to get out there, man. It's a feeling, and as I grew up playing all kinds of sports, and I think it's important to put yourself in those positions of, like, you're stressed right before going into it. My heart is racing because I spoke to classes at South Carolina for the first time.
Yes, sir.
This past year.
Let's go.
But I was so nervous going into it. And then afterwards, to have kids coming up to me asking questions after, I'm like, man, this is what it's about. None of the filming, like, the solo episodes in there. Like, it's all about just passing it along to the next person, or just encouraging someone.
That's so dope.
Which is cool. But
you're a dog, dude.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else before we get out of here. I know in my first interview that I did last week with Tyler Olson, shout out to him, go check out that episode. I asked that last Make It to Midnight question, and then there was like 4 more questions after.
Dude, that's what I mean. It's the post credit scene, baby.
It is, man, because I know right when we turn these cameras off, we're gonna say something. It's gonna be like, man, that would have been great on the podcast. But no, man, I think this is solid. This is solid. So thanks again for coming
Appreciate
on.
the heck out of you, man. It's been awesome.
And I'm gonna get you a wristband.
That's right, dude. That's right.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, my guy.
Yes, sir. Oh,
Make it to midnight, baby.
thanks, bro.
That was awesome, man. Legitimately, like
So
life giving, bro.
y'all see why I love this man so much. JD is such a good, consistent, quality guy that is the same off camera as he is on camera. I hope you guys check out his YouTube channel, his show, The Hard Count with JD Pickell. He's also a part of the On3 brand as well, which is where we have a lot of crossover in my full-time job with On3. So he's crushing it. Please go support JD. He's got a massive year ahead of him for sure. But yeah, thanks for tuning into this interview. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you left feeling more encouraged than you did when you first started the video. That's the goal. We want to encourage people and we want to help people keep on making it to midnight. So I'm out. When you're watching this, I'm in San Francisco at the Super Bowl, my full-time job busting with the boys. The following week, I will be out in Dallas with one of my tennis player friends, Dennis Shapovalov, doing some content with him, wrapping it up with a weekend with my brother for his bachelor party. So we got a busy couple weeks, but I'm going to consistently post some content on this channel and keep it going, keep it consistent. Consistency is the message today. I hope you stay consistent with whatever it is you're working on, because consistent turns average into excellence. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for listening to the interview. Keep on making it to midnight, and I'll see y'all next week.